I fancy meeting you here in my tractor cab. Just meeting weirdly. Welcome back. Thank you for clicking on this video. What are we doing? Well, after you last saw me, we had rain. Yes, we did. Yeah, the baling was done. So all of the fields that will be getting cut a second and even a third time in some instances, they are done. We have the one field that will be cut and then will be let come back for the end of year grazing. It's to do, but it can wait. So what are we up to this week here at the Shire? Because for those of you who don't know, that's what this farm is called. The family farm, which was cattle and grain, was Caldwell Farms, which is Piper Doug's last name. Ironically, we moved to Canada and we moved to a place, and for a last name that is not common, there actually was Caldwells nearby. Just luck, as it were. So what are we doing? Well, as you can no doubt see, I'm moving this yellow sack of turd balls. Because as y'all know, I'm not overly fond of this crush, but we own it, so we use it. So we have 3 cows still in the yard. Culls. And tomorrow they will be going up the road to Cadillacs, which is our local buyer. We have another agent that buys animals using the Cadillacs facility to load through, but Cadillacs, which is part of Titan Livestock out of Alberta, they also buy. So they're going to take our 3 culls. So one of them is an old cull and the 2 are actually fats cows, which for those who don't know, cull means they will go straight to the processing. Fats mean they will then go to grass to be fed up and finished out before they go to processing. So, what are we doing? Well, we're going to set this up into a bit of an alleyway so we can then walk the cows in and then back the trailer into here, because this is worked best for us over the last couple of years. So if it works, stick with it. This way I can get the trailer in here and we're on concrete, which is the nice part. But only 3 cows going, so that's easy peasy. And then this will probably just sit here until the back end of the year. And then some cows, once we wean the calves, some cows we will assess and see if they will go straight away. So, get this set up. So what's the job once you're done all these bales? And before you have to haul them? Well, pretty sure BCP Trucking just did a video on this. It's time to organize the bale yard. So, the problem in this bale yard is we still have a lot of straw in this yard, and we still have a good pile of hay. Because what we want to do is have almost 50% carryover, and we have that. We have a few hundred bales still left over from last year. I think close to 400 bales still in the yard. So hopefully they are going to be getting sold pretty shortly. We're kind of waiting to see what the bale market does, because there's some people are posting strong bale prices, And then some people are basically giving their bales away. So we're just kind of waiting around to see how it goes, because there is, you know, some areas had really good hay yields and some not so much. So we're just kind of waiting to see what happens. But the problem is, a lot of these multi-stacked, especially straw, like this style here, the double stack, the problem is when you get into rains, the water runs down the side of the top bales, and as you can see from the top of the bottom bale, it makes these two puddles. So for the most of the year, it's not an issue, but right now it is. Because we had a shower this morning and it's made them a little bit damp. Not damp enough to worry about them bursting into flames or anything. So now we're sitting them all down in singles, and they should air out. We're not jamming them too tightly together, but we're sitting them out this way, and these will be the first bales we use come next winter, and this way they won't be frozen down, because the bales that have been sitting on the ground all spring and all summer will now have formed quite a mucky contact with the ground. And I'm kind of hoping you'll be able to see when I pull up here. Kind of there you can see the black on the ground. Yeah, it's come winter time they'll be frozen down and they'll be hard to move. So anyway, this is a long, boring, tedious job. So I will send you on to the next segment of the video. Taking 3 girls on a summer break, a little trip, as you were. Yeah. Yep, 3 culls. Well, 1 cull and 2 fats heading up the road. It's always kind of nice to get this part done. You never like sending animals down the road, especially one of them being Frodo. But because she wouldn't mother, she gotta go. But it's always nice to get the yard emptied out, or at least the one part of the yard that has temporary animals. It's always nice to get that done. So up to Cadillacs we go. Come on, my girls. Release the horde. Hey, Squirty. Hey, baby. Another day, another dollar. So, here is the last bale off of the field that we cut first. And as you can see, there's a lot of stuff out here. So, here's the first pile of bales, because this quarter made 420 bales, which is pretty good. Considering the year, we're very happy with that. So, why this pile? This pile is the first rain. So yeah, we kept that lot separate. It's still good quality, but we know that that had about a quarter-inch. I don't know if it was quite a quarter-inch, maybe 3/8. No, not 3/8, 3/16 of rain on it. So yeah. Well, you can see in here, there's a lot of good regrowth. We'll be cutting in here in the next 2 weeks anyway. So, oh yeah, the rake that was sitting down there abandoned. No, the rake is not done. Like, it's not kapuchkied. My new part right there, yeah, the roll pin jumped out. That's when the whole basket fell backwards. So basically, I'm gonna have to forgo the roll pin thing and drill the hole right on through, and then I'll just put a grade 8 bolt through that. And that way it's not gonna happen again. Because besides that, it worked great. And I like my rake. At some point, we will be restoring it. So, where am I going with this bale? Well, this bale was the second last baled stuff. This is the last baled stuff. This is the last baled stuff. This is perfect condition. This was where these the disc vine was set out wide setting. Yeah, that is premium hay. That's why we're keeping it there all by itself. There's one of the bales sitting there with a green thing attached to it. Tomorrow, insurance adjuster's coming out to take a look at that. So yeah. So then we have this. So you'll notice a large pile and then a smaller pile. Large pile is the hay that got about 2 inches of rain on it. Just shy. Yeah. So we will feed that to our backgrounding calves, and we will offset that stuff with silage to bring the feed quality up. This stuff here had it's the stuff that got blown around, and then it got another rain on it, and then it got another rain on it. So it's had 2 smaller rains, but not as much water as that got. So the bale that's in the back goes with this group. So yeah, there was 4 rains on this hay field before we got done. So that's awesome. So yeah, this goes back to the yard. Drop this bale off, and people might be like, why are you picking your bales with your bale processor? Well, it's easier than trying to grab the bales. I've learned the hard way, do not pick up 2 hay bales with the big fancy bale spike wide guy. It's great for straw, not for hay. Don't do it. Bad duck, bad piper duck, bad. But in the next video, there's going to be work going on the bale picker. Maybe in this video, we'll see. So yeah, there's improvements to go on the bale picker, and the bale trailer is currently busy with a whole bunch of oil field pipe on it, so that's why it's not out here. So we're working with what we have. So this is what we're doing. Anyway, let's get on. Yeah, the heat wave has begun. And happy Harding Fair to everybody. The big fair is on down in town. I usually try and go down for a little while, but I've got a fairly busy dance card today. So the insurance adjuster is going to be arriving here shortly to go take a look at the John Deere. The old Deere John is sitting over there. And I've still got a pile of bales to move so we can start hauling bales in. And then I just got confirmation that somebody is coming then the next week to get all of these bales and then part of this stack too. So that'll save me a lot of work, because I was going to have to move these bales around. So the nice thing is I'll be able to just put them on trailers and they'll leave. That pile there, yeah, we're making the driveway bigger because as those who have been here for a while know, that approach is not big enough and we have issues with it. And then last winter, or the winter before, when this tractor was being delivered, the semi went in the ditch. I think it was last winter, yeah, because I had to replace that gate post because the semi went in the ditch and took out the gate post. They still made it in, but we're not going to do that again. So that's to do. This is what we're at today. Zoom out. So I'd had issues where this is the weak point about these bale pickers. They're fine for little hay bales like 5x5s, 4x5s, you start getting into the big 1,500 pounder plus bales, it starts breaking stuff. And this was what happened last time. It actually broke this. So I put these gussets on. So that worked great. Except, as you can see, the shaft bent out. Now it's broken the tab, and that's a brand new one because the last one's broke too. This one seems okay. So I think with this one I should be able to get away with just turning around. So the plan is, I'm going to take this off, take it back to the shop, press it back straight. And then what I'm going to do is bring down my mobile welder, because I can't get this into the workshop. Because these Morris hay hikers, the arms don't fold all the way in. So I can't get it down the driveway because some silly person planted all those trees. I'll just scratch your paintwork, honestly. It was me. I like my trees. Anyway. So what I'm going to do is I am going to weld brackets on here. So like in line with this to there. So either I'll just like run straight bar, and then run a bar up to here and a bar up to here, and then put like a half piece of pipe pushed up against here, that these arms will be welded to the cup, so that when this shaft, if it ever deflects, it has nowhere to go. Blinking flies. It has nowhere to go. Like if it flexes, it's up against these. So it doesn't need to have bearings. It'll just be a bushing. I can put grease on it. Probably will end up just doing that, especially while doing hay. Straw doesn't matter. So this is the reason why you have not seen us using this bale picker. Why we've been using the old bale processor, because this is out of commission because of, if you can see that, yeah. So project, I'm taking this off, taking it to the shop. Let's straighten it. Gonna do some sketchy stuff, do-da, do-da. Gonna do some sketchy stuff, oh the do-da-day, oh the do-da-day, oh the do-da-day. I'm off to do some sketchy stuff, oh the do-da-day. Yeah, gotta haul my pipe into the yard because I need the bale trailer. Pronto! So when I say sketchy stuff, yeah, I had to hand bomb all that off of there. Wasn't for the lack of Liam trying with the skid steer. The skid steer would not lift the side of the trailer to tip that off, so yeah. Don't tell my surgeon, don't tell my doctor at the pain clinic, and I was going to say definitely don't tell Mrs. Piper Doug, but hi honey. That's a feed rail right there. That's a feed rail. Like I said, clock's ticking. Here's the issue. The regrowth's already up to the rims. And I'm trampling on it. And a lot of people need this feed. And like I said, I am not about to rip off my fellow ranchers. Everybody can win. Nobody needs to get greedy. But I need to get this off. So that's why I cracked out the big trailer. As much as it's a lot of work for this tractor, but it saves a lot of time. So let's get on. Even Piper Doug has to admit when he messed up. Piper Doug, what did you do? What's the catastrophe? What went wrong? What was your lapse in judgment? not done baling apparently. Yeah, fire up the baler. Couple more bales to make. Dang it! So yeah, this is our ravine. Why are you being weird? Tractor's being weird. Anyway, so yeah, this ravine goes all the way down through this section. Now, the grazing in there does not last long. It's maybe 3 weeks at the most. But it's where all the fields hinge from. So the cows use this as a passway, and plus those dugouts. A dugout here, and then there's another one in the north ravine. So we will be giving the cows literally all of that field. I think I'll go and cut around the outside because I like to have the grass cut down around the fence, because that way I can keep it clean and they're not as prone to messing with the fence. This is the field up here, right there. That's the one that's getting cut. So I want to get these all done. I'll move before I cut that, because once I get that cut and then I look at baling that, then I'll be doing the second cut. So there, what's going on with this thing? You behave. I only have you right now. The green meanie's not. That's another story for another time. So, I had some questions from last week's video about what makes these bales special. Why are they so heavy? How can they be this heavy without being spoiled? So, the short answer of it is, there's a lot of material in them, as I proved by the whole screwdriver test. Like, if you can stick a screwdriver in the sidewall of the bale, not in the round side, but the sidewall, and stand on it, there's a lot of product. Now, the way that the baler packed them, yeah, the center is probably a little softer on the curve than what the sidewalls are. So it will still breathe from the outer wrap versus from the sides. The other big thing that adds to the weight is when you bale them right at optimum moisture, so in the mid-teens, because a bale will air out to the point where it balances. So even if you bale them at 20, 22, they will gas out, especially if you put an additive in them. I haven't run additive yet because we haven't baled anything that was that dangerous. The additive stops mold spores, so that way you don't get that reaction. Anyway, the big thing that happens when you bale hay at optimum, and Trevor Bales from Bales Hay and Ranch down in Texas, I think it's Texas, somebody might correct me in the comments. He did a few videos on this and he explained it terrifically, considering he does sell thousands of these every year. Is when you can get it cured down. Now, cured and dried are two different things. When you can get it cured down as quick as possible without losing the wax, that's where you keep your weight, and that's where you keep extra palatability. Palatability, is that a word? No, it's not a word. It's silly. Palatability, which means the cows don't have to chew and spit and regurgitate as often to break it down. So with the wax and the perfect level of moisture means the cows can convert it to energy quicker. So that's why this stuff makes really good bale when it's run through a shredder. You can blend it with stuff. Now, what I was going to show you is, this would be how you can tell. Yeah. Just scratch the surface and you look at the color. So yeah, the outside of the bales are yellow, but right as soon as you run off the surface, it's bright green. And that is to do with the wax, the chlorophyll, and the moisture. So yeah, these bales weigh a lot. I won't be selling them by the pound, so anybody in the area that is in the look for hay, to know that I will be setting a price on these and they will be at that price. Because if I was to sell these even at base cents per pound, these bales would be $150 bales, and I'm not charging that for hay. Not to fellow ranchers, not gonna happen. So hope that helped. Craft checking. So we're in the last week of July, and I noticed this has happened. Starting to head out already. It's at least 2 weeks ahead of where it normally would. So, never mind getting the bales hauled and getting ready for second cut hay. I'm gonna have to start getting the swather and the old grain truck ready. Heading out, that means we've got about 2 to 3 weeks. Cool. Giddy up. Chewy McGooey.